Yeah, I remember during the 1980s and 1990s, especially when I was in my teens and 20s during the 1990s, and up to the early 2000s, people were very frightened of HIV and AIDS. The society was very scared. There was a lot of advertising to try to encourage you to play safe. Um, yeah, the world was very scared of HIV when it emerged. It was a very terrifying disease that killed everyone until probably the early millennium or later. It killed everyone. There was absolutely no medical treatment that was significant. Medical treatment's only come in the last 10 years or so that I think is significant. Before then it was just a death disease. So, hello everyone, people of the world. Today's talk is on the world's deadliest virus, is coronavirus. I reshooting this a little bit because I deleted the file by mistake. So what's the world's deadliest virus? This is approximately the coronavirus death toll, by the way, roughly. It's certainly not, I think it's below 1%. It would have been probably several percent without the lockdowns, but anyway. The HIV is what I think is the world's most deadliest virus. And the reason why is because the death toll is 100%. It kills everybody. Modern medicine can keep you alive now for a long sort of time, but you have to take pills, I think, every day. I heard Martin Sheen saying that you have to take 4 pills a day for the rest of your life. So without medicine, HIV destroys the immune system and it actually sounds like a human immunodeficiency virus. It destroys the immune system, becomes acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and it will kill you. But what kills you is actually another infection like a cold or a flu or a bacterial infection. Other things actually kill you. But it kills everyone. Okay? So to continue on, the HIV, okay? There are 2 species. Okay? There's 2 species that infect humans. That infect humans, okay? The species are actually called Len TV, which is a subgroup of the retrovirus. Okay. The retroviruses I mentioned in earlier videos are viruses that they have RNA in them. So yeah, like coronavirus. Okay, so HIV causes a progressive failure of the immune system. Okay, until you die from other infections like colds, flus, bacterial infections, chest infections. You die from other things. It destroys the immune system. Without medicine, you can last, as I said, up to about 9 to 11 years. Okay. HIV, it infects the helper T cells, okay, which are also called CD4 plus T cells. Okay, they're part of the immune system. It also infects macrophages. Okay, and dendritic cells. Macrophages means large eating. It means that they're basically cells that eat bacteria and viruses. They engulf them and eat them. Okay. So HIV, it lowers levels of CD4 plus T cells. Okay. So this means something called cell mediated immunity is lost. Okay, that means immunity caused by your body's cells is lost. Okay, and this then leads to AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay. Okay, so HIV is roughly spherical, a bit like coronavirus. Okay, there's two main types, HIV1 and HIV2. Okay, pens are dying. I'm only going to give a very rough overview of HIV because it's very complicated. I will make another video where I'll go into it in much more detail, okay? It's a 120 nanometers diameter, okay? It's 6 times smaller than, sorry, it's 60 times smaller than red blood cells. Okay, it's known as erythrocytes. Okay, there are 2 copies of the messenger RNA, sorry, of the RNA in the virus. It's called, that's why it's a retrovirus, which is single-stranded RNA. Okay, so you got 2 copies. Okay, so this is HIV. Just a diagram of HIV viron. You got the RNA here. You got the proteins above it, the nucleocapsid attached, capsid proteins. You got that's the capsid, there's a protein coat, and on the outside you got a fat membrane bilayer, and you got various sugary glycosylate and sugary proteins. Glycosylate means sugar, so sugar is attached to proteins. You got enzymes, proteases, another enzyme here, reverse transcriptase, integrase here. That allows it to get into cells, inside cell DNA. So this is an overall sketch of HIV. HIV1 is 9,200 to 9,600 9,600 in length. HIV2 is 9,800. Okay. Base is long. Okay. So that's longer. That's the basics of it. It has about 11 genes. Okay. It's called yeah, I'll come into that in a second. 11 genes, okay? When the RNA is converted to DNA, which is why it's called a retrovirus, by an enzyme called reverse transcriptase, okay? The DNA has long terminal repeats, okay, which encode promoters. For encode promoters, okay. Sorry, they encode these genes, which are promoters. Some of the GAG, pol, and envelope, okay. Envelope creates the envelope of the virus. That stands for the polymerase, okay, that converts DNA into RNA. And the GAG has to do with structural proteins, okay? This is RT is reverse transcriptase. Okay? DNA goes to RNA by the polymerase, okay? But RNA goes to DNA using reverse transcriptase. That's why it's called a retrovirus. It goes in the reverse direction. Okay. So, and then next we've got the RNA is enclosed in a conical capsid, okay, which is roughly sort of that kind of shape, okay, roughly, okay. This is made of approximately 1,500 proteins. The protein was 1,500 monomers, a protein called P24, okay? 1,500 protein monomers. Okay? The single-stranded RNA is attached to a nucleocapsid protein. That's dead. A nucleocapsid protein called P7, okay? So it's attached to another one called P7. The RNA is attached to a protein called P7, okay? And there's also other enzymes, okay? Which are involved in. It's a complicated virus, and I'll go into a different video properly, okay? But this is just a very rough overview. Again, different mature versions. It does change when it infects you. Again, all the sort of various. That's a similar diagram to what we saw before, but it's different, showing lipids and proteins, and so that's basically HIV. Okay, I did mention there was this other thing called Marburg, which has a death toll of 90%, which is like Ebola, but I think HIV is number one because it kills everybody 100%. So the world has changed a bit. Modern medical treatments can keep you alive now a long time, but it ruins your life. So either it kills you after up to 10 years, 11 years, or you can stay alive probably for a long time, but you're relying on having to take drugs the whole of your life, so it's not exactly very pleasant. So that's HIV. Thanks. Like, subscribe, comment. It's actually, I need 100 now. Please tell me you get to 100.